Hello and welcome to the Jackcast, your Swansea City podcast. I'm your host, Steve Carroll, and joining me this week to discuss all things Swansea City is Andy Godden. Afternoon, Andy.
Afternoon, Steve. Hi, everyone.
So we've got probably a bit more to discuss this week than we were anticipating, given the news that Adam Worth has left Swansea City. But we'll discuss the weekend win at Leicester before we get on to that. Not a happy hunting ground for us. I mean, I've not been to Leicester for a few years now, but I think on the three visits I've been, we'd lost 2-1 on each occasion. And I think before Saturday, our only positive result at that ground was a 1-1 draw the year that we got relegated from the Premier League. And thanks to a tweet that ended up going viral, we had not won there since 1950. So, Andy, it was probably not expected that we would go there and win, but we did, obviously, didn't we?
We did, and we did the reverse swans, didn't we? Usually, if there's a record for the opposition to break, they'll break it against us. Whereas this is when we broke in return. So yeah, that was positive. And in a rare case for me, I actually bet on the Swans to win, and we won because I thought 3-1 odds for us to play in a team in the bottom three who aren't in particularly good form. Those are criminal odds, regardless of how we're playing and everything. I just thought those were bonkers odds, frankly. So I put a few quid on us to win, and we did. So that breaks a habit as well. So yeah, no, but not to be sniffed at, is it? After two draws, against decent opposition, I think that then takes us to 5 points out of three games, and that's not to be sniffed at, is it?
No, I think it's probably more than what we were expecting, isn't it? So, definite positive. I mean, before the ball was kicked, I was quite surprised really by the lineup. There were a few changes, weren't there? I mean, Sam Parker kept his place, which that was probably expected, but we saw Leo Walter come into the team, which I think quite a few had been calling for. Really, I think Nunes had his first start for a good while. So yeah, it wasn't the team we were probably expecting, was it?
Certainly not. Although I think if there's one criticism of Matos, I mean, maybe he does seem to be quite reactive to sort of fan pressure and any sort of campaigns. It was Parker the week before, and then Welter, as you say, there was that whole free Welter thing on on Twitter, which got a bit of traction. I think maybe did that feed into his thinking? Who knows? But at the end of the day, if you're spending 3 million or so on a player who isn't probably ready for the championship, which I don't think he is, I mean, the only way you get him ready is to give him game time. And given we don't have much to play for the rest of the season, if it's up to me, he'd be playing every single game from here on out. So I'm glad he got game time. But yeah, it was a relatively attacking team, wasn't it? Parker is not a defensive right back by any means. Walter's not a defensive midfielder based on his profile, and Nunes is an old-fashioned winger, really. So, and I'm sure you were happy that Ronald wasn't instead. So yeah, no, it was definitely a positive um, uh, lineup, and really it should be if you're playing a team that's up against the bottom three. But no, it's good to see us go out there like that.
Yeah, I think it was, when it? It was certainly a better team than maybe what we've seen more recently. I mean, what did you make of the first half? I mean, one of the things that stands out was, what did you think of the penalty appeal? Because to me, I mean, it really did look like a penalty. I mean, it was frustrating that it didn't get given. It was a foul, if you ask me. Do you agree?
I've watched a lot of replays, and so on my stream, it was hard to tell. So I had a bit of sympathy with the ref in that regard. But then I think that there've been some better replays of it, which it definitely looks a penalty. One thing it isn't is a goal kick. So which is, I mean, you either think the defender's got the ball or it's a foul. It's one or the other. So it's either a corner or a penalty. Quite often you see referees give a corner when they're not quite sure, which is probably fair enough. But to give a goal kick there, I found that baffling because it was obviously not a dive. So you got to give one or the other. But yeah, I mean, I think it's fair.
You still there?
I'm still there. Yes,
Oh,
you
okay, I
went
wasn't sure what
quiet
was
there for a
going on
moment.
then. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if you finished talking, but yeah, look, I agree with you. I felt that it was, when he gave a goal kick, I really was amazed. So, that was a strange call by the ref. I suppose we're lucky really that it didn't impact us too much. But I mean, if we come to the goal, I mean that is the type of goal that I've seen us concede before. I think one was at Oxford in the FA Cup. Don't know if you remember it, about 10 years ago when they were League Two, we were in the Prem, and we got dubbed out, and
3-2.
they scored from our corner, and obviously we've done the same to them. And to be fair to Eon, it's not had a brilliant season to say the least, but he did do very well, didn't he, with his run, which was about 60, 70 yards. And then he's also managed to find Vipotnik. I mean, I think Stamenic might be slightly frustrated because he's in a good position as well. And but once Vipotnik gets into that position, it's you tend to think it's going to be a goal, and it was a brilliant finish, wasn't it? And yeah, a superb counter attack, really.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it was it a corner or a free kick? It might have been a free kick actually, but it was right in the area. I mean, what he was thinking with that, it was terrible. I mean, you do see the cutback coming quite often, and fair play to him to intercept it, but it was such a lethargic ball. It was just so yeah, so poor from them. But at the end of the day, fair play to him. He basically ran the length of the pitch, didn't he? And went past a couple of plays into that as well. So no, fair play to him. And I think he's not had the best of seasons, has he, this season? But hopefully that does in the world of good. Was he passing to Vipotnik? Was he passing to Stamage? Who knows? But I mean, if you wanted to fall into anyone in that position, you wanted to fall into the main man, don't you? And what's that for the season now? 23, is it? It's yeah, it's a remarkable return, and you just never felt he was going to miss there, and in off the crossbar and into the side netting. There's no keeper in the world that's saving that. But no, delighted for him. He's had a tough season. He's not really got caught on from last season, as he, which I think a lot of people hoped. There was some positive signs last year. He'd really kick on from it this year, but it's not really happened for me, I don't think. And there's probably a number of reasons for that, but no, hopefully that gives him a bit of confidence. But I think I remember us saying the same thing after the Preston game, wasn't it? When he scored up there, hopefully he would kick on from there. He hasn't really happened for him. But yeah, no, fair play, great run, and great goal. And I think if we've been fair, it's probably against the run of play, wasn't it? In the first half, Leicester probably the stronger. They'll think they should have scored at least once. But I think once we got the goal, I wasn't worried at all. I don't know about you.
No, I wasn't particularly concerned. I mean, look at Leicester though, and they've still got a lot of good players, really. Certainly ones that shouldn't be down the bottom. But it was a really bad performance from them, and it had all the hallmarks of you look at Spurs and you think they've got the players that can get out of it or shouldn't be down there, yet they're in huge trouble. And I had the same feeling from Leicester, really. They look in a hell of a state, and for them to go down again would be unbelievable. You wouldn't have thought that at the beginning of the season, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think the opposition were poor, weren't they? And you'd be worried if you follow them.
Oh, you would be. I mean, when I looked at the respective lineups, they looked stronger than us based on names. But I think football has no respect for names after a certain time, does it? And I think some of those players are either past their best, or they just aren't playing for the badge for the club anymore when it comes to Leicester, because they were poor. And once they went to go down, you can see the crowd were on their backs. There was chance of sack aboard. There were boos whenever things went wrong. I think it's a really toxic atmosphere up there. And I mean, I can't believe. I mean, to me, if you look at the names in that squad, that should really be a top six squad. For them to be in the bottom three, and I mean, not quite adrift yet, but really struggling. It'd be interesting to see what happens with West Brom and the rumours about them being caught foul of the financial rules. But I just didn't think for a second that Leicester would be going down even as recently as last week. But after seeing that performance, it's really difficult to see where they get the wins from, because they just look so devoid in confidence. Their fans look to be in open revolt. It's got all the hallmarks of a team going down, isn't it?
You would think so, wouldn't you? I mean, when you see a team perform that badly, you just have to assume that the end is going to be relegation. I mean, you'd be very, very concerned if you followed them. But Look, I think from a selfish point of view,
Oh, it's great.
if Leicester were to stay up, you'd have thought that maybe they'd be better next year, and seeing them go down maybe isn't the worst thing for us. So, yeah, it's dog eat dog, this world of football, isn't it? So, yeah, and you could say the same almost behind the scenes, because there are changes afoot once again at Swansea City. It feels like the revolving door for a lot of roles behind the scenes just keeps rolling. And yes, we've seen Adam Worth has now departed. We are led to believe. Although there's nothing official on the club website yet. But what do you make of that, Andy? I mean, I'm quite surprised, to be honest with you. I mean, it seems to have come out of the blue, doesn't it?
It does, and like you, I'm surprised. He seemed to have seen off a couple of other people, so I'm surprised he's gone now in the way he has. Yeah, as you say, it's not official from the club yet, but it's come from the sorts of sources like Tom Coburn. You expect they've got their ducks in a row with this. Well, Adam Worth's already put it on LinkedIn, hasn't he? That he's going on to other challenges, which is the euphemism for being made redundant generally. When you see that put on there, and nobody's ever put a post on LinkedIn that's been honest about the reasons they've left a job. So yeah, it's so no, it's clearly happening. Um, I'm shocked it's happening. I mean, I was shocked he was appointed in the first place. I mean, not so much that he was appointed as sort of head of analytics, because if you look at his career before coming to the Swans, I mean, he's been, he's a data guy. He's worked more in the gambling industry. Ladbrokes, BetMGM. Being involved heavily in data from that side. So I think that translates to a data role at the club. Now, what I never really understood is how you move from that data role to the head of recruitment or recruitment director, to give the title he's given himself on LinkedIn. So, which, to be that, director of recruitment of football in essence, you need to understand. I mean, you need to understand football for a start. You need to be setting the parameters to data guys in terms of, okay, what sort of squad are we looking to build here? What sort of players do we need? I mean, do we need wingers? Do we need, how many, midfielders? What sort of profiles are we looking for? And you feed those parameters to the data guys. So for him to go to that role, it never really made sense to me at the time. And maybe the owners have felt the same, because I think the rumours of bringing in a proper director of football, after letting go of the last director of football and being told we didn't need a director of football a year ago. I'm hoping some lessons are learned, and it sounds like maybe there was some unhappiness with Worth at the club. Who knows? But no, I think if we're being objective and we look at recruitment this season, I think if you look at it on an individual basis, the players, I think it's been a bit hit and miss. But I think some signings have been, you can justify them, some you can't, some you can. But I think as a whole, I just didn't see any strategy to it. We just seem to be signing midfielders in the main, while leaving themselves criminally weak at the back and on the flanks in particular. I know you would have loved another right winger, for example. We've been heavily reliant on Robotnik and Timon to create chances for Robotnik. We didn't seem to have a strategy around the whole team and what we wanted to do, and that's been with two managers, not just one. So I think, you know we I was a bit torn actually, because we, as a club, I think we need stability. I mean, how many appointments, how many departures have there been at the sort of at the operational level of the club? It's too many. We need stability. We need consistency. No club can hope to succeed without a consistent approach. But I guess in balance, if it isn't the right people there, then you have to make the change, and hopefully the next one can be that one who's here for 2, 3, 4 years, so you have that stability. So yeah, to summarize, surprised he got the job in the first place. Surprised he's gone now. But I suppose if you're going to get rid and you're going to bring somebody in, April's the right time, isn't it? You still got a few games to the end of the season. You've got enough time to plan for the summer. It's obviously going to be a critical summer for the club, because I think, and I'm sure we'll talk the financials in a bit, but we probably need to sell. We certainly have areas we need to strengthen. So I think it's going to be a really key summer for the club. But yeah, like you, I was surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to come on to really in terms of, we're looking at the summer and, you know, we have to say that the summer just gone hasn't proved to be a great one at this stage. I mean, you still think some players might improve, but given the money that was spent, I mean, we've certainly not seen value for money at all yet, have we? And, if we were going to approach this summer in the same way with the same people making decisions, then you'd have to say, based on that, it would have been concerning. So, I mean, does it feel like the right time, you would say, to change it? If you certainly would, if we didn't have faith that we were going to be making decisions that we felt would be good for the long term, doesn't it?
It does absolutely. But I think you've got a natural gap between the January window and then the summer window, haven't you? So February to April, I think you've got to use that period to assess: do we have the right people running things at the top of the club? Do we have the right structure there? So if we go back to, for example, Montague getting the chop, I mean, as I understand it, the football side went to Worth, sort of the more sort of like contractual aspects of that role went to Gorringe. Now, it sounds like by bringing a director of football now, maybe they've realised that was a mistake, and maybe this is going to mean Gorringe's role changes a little bit as well, and he goes more back to sort of the operational side of the club, maybe. So I think the timing's right. It's definitely in that. It sounds like there's been an assessment of what the club actually needs, which is good. Let's just hope they get the right people in this time, because I mean, for all the positive things, I think these new owners have done beyond what the old owners did. They haven't been good at appointing people, and they've probably been far worse, I'd say, than the old owners in terms of who they've appointed at the top of the club. Because I mean, if we look at their predecessors, they brought the likes of Trevor Birchin, who I think is pretty well regarded here. I think Julian Winter to a point. I think probably his strengths are in slightly different areas to Birch, but I mean, I think he was good for us overall. Um, I don't think they've quite appointed to that level of quality in the likes of Gorringe and Worth from what I've seen, or Montague, frankly. And hopefully they can going forward. So I think as Swans fans, they clearly been putting their money where their mouths are. Fair play to them for doing that. But as you say, if you're just wasting the money, as I think a lot of it was wasted last summer, it's not going to help us any, is it? So hopefully they get this appointment right.
Yeah, it does feel like an important one, doesn't it? Because we've, as you say, that too many people now have come and gone. I mean, there was the infamous Paul Watson who didn't last that long and did a lot of
Yeah.
damage. Um, Almost as much as I tried to damage him at the fans forum. I'm sure that's what you're thinking, isn't it? But
I forgot about Watson, completely forgot about him. But yeah, I mean, they've just been bad at appointing people, haven't they?
yeah, and I mean, manager decisions have not been great. I mean, it's there's various positions there, aren't there, where people have come and gone. Obviously, we had Coleman, now we've got Gorringe. It's there does need to be some stability there, but more than ever, there only needs to be stability if you appoint the right people. So yeah, that needs to happen, doesn't it? And I think a director of football coming in does, generally is a good idea. I mean, to bring in a sporting director was a good idea. It's just that unfortunately Paul Watson was the wrong person to have that job. I mean, if they'd appointed the right person, I don't disagree with the decision to bring someone like that in. It just shouldn't have been him. That's all. But yeah, I think that's the frustration. I'm hoping with the ownership that they have been involved now for nearly 3 years, and they surely have learned a lot in that time. I would have thought so. And I think what you often see is, and this is where I'm assuming, is that ownership sometimes maybe they've been successful in other walks of life and they try to apply it to football and it doesn't always work out like that. And they must have learned a lot. And I'm really hoping that they have because, at the end of the day, we can't afford to keep appointing people that are making decisions that are not good for the football club. So I really hope we do our due diligence and I hope we appoint somebody that doesn't really have any links with anybody else here. So we just have, the best people running it with no agendas, no links to other people, and it goes like that. So I think that would be what's right for us. Moving on now. On last week's podcast, we did talk a little bit about the finances, but I think because obviously you were so high up in the trust at one point, Andy, being the chair, and from a financial background, is probably you're a good person to speak to about the accounts. I mean, yeah, we lost 21.6 million. I know that you can't go into a huge amount of detail at this stage because not all the details are available, but it's not great, is it?
It isn't, no. Frustrating. The club have got into a habit of releasing the headline figures sometime before they actually get published at Companies House, which is so for those who don't know, Companies House is where all the year-end accounts are published, so they're available to the public for free. So people who are interested in that sort of thing can go there, just download a PDF file and have a look at them for yourselves. But it's not there yet, unfortunately. So we have to rely on the headline figures that have been published by the club. And yeah, they don't make great reading, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, 21.6 million loss for for the last season. And yeah, bear in mind we are talking about the 24-25 season here. So these accounts are 9 months in arrears. So yeah, 21.6 million loss last season. I mean, just to tell you what that kind of means, we brought 22 million pound into the club in terms of revenue. So that'll be TV rights, match day ticket sales, commercial things like that. So shirt sales and all that. But our operational costs or our expenses are 51 million. So there's almost a 30 million gap between turnover and costs. I mean, the reason that the loss is only 21 million, say only 21 million, is because we actually made a profit on player sales of 8 million. So bearing in mind we'd sold players for a profit, we made 8 million pound profit on those players. We still made an overall 21 million pound loss, or almost 22 million, and that's a problem. I mean, if you look at I mean, the club did highlight that the ownership group invested 21 million into the club during that season as part of an equity issue, which I think is a good thing. Money's come into the club from the owners to cover that loss. That's great. And I think that's fair comment. And the trust to know also made a statement saying, yep, they all very much approve of equity coming into the club. Now, it should be noted that no money has come into the club for the last, I think it's around the last 18 months now. So, assuming similar losses this season, and I think there's no reason to think otherwise, because costs wouldn't have gone down dramatically. You wouldn't have thought. I know there has been some trimming of the wage bill, but then there's been a lot of purchases coming in as well, so you never quite know where we are. We have spent a lot this summer, this past summer, and also I think I know the Walter deal is a loan to buy, so that's probably going to be coming into next year's. But you expect the losses will be similar this year. You do wonder how those are going to be covered. Are those going to be via debt rather than equity, given the lack of money coming in? I think we won't find out until this time next year, unfortunately. But yeah, there's some red flags there for sure. If we look at it from a football perspective, and so the PSR rules, the former FFP rules, financial fair play, you're allowed to lose, I think it's 41.5 million over 3 years, and we would be over that if we just look at the 3 year losses. However, there are a lot of things that are exempted from that. Things like the academy spend with the women's team, infrastructure costs, things like that. So we may be fine from a PSR lens. We may not be. There's all sorts of rumours around that. I know when I've asked the questions at Fans Forum before, are we close to threshold? I think it was Coleman who answered the last time I asked it, and he said no. Hopefully that's still the case. Although the fact we've structured the Welter deal to be into next season does lead me to believe we're probably really close to the threshold. So probably the one thing I'd flag to Swans fans that I just can't see us being on a spending spree this summer. I think we will have to sell, and the only logical asset at the moment looks to be our star striker. I think we'll probably need to sell to invest as it stands, or we may need to sell just to stand still. Who knows? I certainly can't see us spending much without selling. So that's probably the one thing I take in terms of what's going to happen in the next couple of months. But I think it's probably a good message to be sending out to the fans that things are really tight down there. With given we're a mid-table team with probably a mid-table spending anyways, we are making an uh, absolutely massive loss, and things are really tight financially. So I think as fans, we may need to show a bit of realism when it comes to summer recruitment, even if nobody wants to hear that. But yeah, it's not great. But yeah, hopefully in the next week or two we'll get the full set of accounts and we'll know if there's any other sort of any other issues in all that. But I suspect they'll probably be beyond what we already know. But we shall see. But yeah, it's probably would have said much the same last season. To be honest with you, it's this isn't sustainable going forward, and I think that there's talk about the rules being changed around FFP or PSR. There's talk about bringing in wage caps and things like that. I just think things like that have to happen because this sort of spending is unsustainable, isn't it, going forward? And it's not just this; it's the rest of the division as well.
Yeah, it does
Yeah,
just feel generally crazy, doesn't it? The
yeah.
fact that nearly everybody now is making a loss, and where does it end? I mean, I hope that when the independent regulator comes in, that we start to see a few changes because it can't carry on like this. I don't think, even if Mick McCarthy would say that it can. I don't know. It doesn't feel great, but
It doesn't. And just on the independent regulator piece, I'm not sure that's going to change this so much. I think I think so long there may be rules that are tightening and ensuring that the owners will be the ones filling those holes. But I'm not sure that's what necessarily what the independent regulator will be focusing on is making a club self-sufficient. Normally, it's basically cost equal revenue. I just from what I'm hearing, I don't think that's going to be their focus. I think it'll just to be avoid the massive excesses that you've seen or clubs not being able to support it. So long as the owners are prepared to keep saying they'll support it, I think the independent regulator will say that's okay. But the problem is, if they just suddenly say no, that's going to leave them with a problem, isn't it? So I think there may be some slight tightening of the rules, but I don't think it's going to be quite the hard solution. I think some people may think it'll be. I think it could be quite soft in this area, but we'll see. See.
yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see to how that plays out. I mean, these things often aren't as good as maybe what's needed, but I'm hoping it's going to be a step in the right direction. But I guess we'll soon see. But before we wrap up for this week, we've got a couple of games to preview because on Saturday Southampton come to town, and next Tuesday we go to Queens Park Rangers. So that'll be the final midweek game of the season. But Southampton first, Andy. This is going to be a difficult game, isn't it? They are the form team in the division. They're now in the playoffs. They're going to stay there. I mean, right now, I'd make them favourites to win the playoffs as well. This is going to be one of the harder games that we've had recently, and you'd have to say realistically the hardest game we've got left, isn't it?
Oh, by some distance, you'd have thought. Yeah, I mean, we did get a point down there somehow. Although that was more down to their missing of open goals more than anything, wasn't it? They absolutely battered us during the away game, and I mean, they weren't even playing particularly well at that point. So no, they're firing on all cylinders at the moment. I saw them play Wrexham recently, and they actually played them off the park. 5-1, wasn't it? In the end, it was and it could have been more. They looked a decent team. They beat Arsenal in the FA Cup, and it didn't massively flatter them. I think it really shows the level they're operating at. We are not playing well against the best teams in the league. I mean, I know we got a point against Middlesbrough. I think we were very fortunate to get that point. And Southampton are a lot better than Middlesbrough. So yeah, I mean, I can't. I'm not putting money on us winning this weekend for sure. But yeah, hopefully we can turn in performance and give the fans something to be positive for the rest of the season. I want to see us on the front foot attacking more. Um, even that means we concede some. I think that's going to happen anyway. I want to see us give it a good go on the weekend. hopefully play an attacking team. Hopefully, start getting the ball forward a bit better and create some more chances. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game, isn't it? But fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, how would you look to set the team up? Would you be looking for a similar type of 11 to what we saw at Leicester?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, I don't think we were particularly good before the goal. We will certainly need to up our performance level from that. But no, I think. I mean, I'd play Nunes. I'd give him another start. I think hopefully Om's going to build some confidence from that. So you probably keep those two playing there. I give Walter all the game time he can cope with at the moment. So play him. Waddell is in decent form at the moment, although I don't think he'll ever score a goal for us, will he? But I think you'd play him. And then yeah, Stamish, I guess, as the holding midfielder. And then I guess you want to give Sam Parker as much game time as you can as well. And I think it's great to see him playing so well over the last couple of games. It's been so frustrating him not getting the game time for the rest of the season. And I think these two performances have really shown that he really should have had it a lot earlier, like a lot of us thought he should have. So I think yeah, the team. I don't want to say picks itself, but I think that's the team I'd pick for um, Southampton. How about yourself?
Yeah, similar, really. I mean, we we have got to try and give people an opportunity now a little bit, and we like Valto is the prime example. I mean, if for him to get up to speed, as we were saying earlier, he needs minutes, and I think maybe for one of the other games, QPR, maybe Ida would come in and start just to rotate slightly, for example. So I can see the logic in some other players getting a chance, but I certainly think with Valter and with Parker, really, that those two particularly need to stay in the team. And yeah, I just hope we have a bit of a go. I mean, I think Southampton will be a very difficult game for us. I mean, if we get anything from it, it would be class as a positive. I don't want to see Ronaldo. If I'm sure that'll surprise you. Um, what was so frustrating the other day was when he pinched the ball and it was like, "You've done really well there, right? Go on then." And then just the cross to nobody and Ronald
Yeah.
McDonald, as he was called, and it's like, well, yeah, it's yeah, that sort of summed him up really, didn't it? I certainly don't want him in the team, but we'll see. I mean, what are we looking forward to think from these two games? I mean, QPR don't have a lot to play for. I thought when we played them earlier in the season, they beat us and they were the better team, particularly in the first half. And then I think Alcoué had the red card, didn't he? And as I say,
Yeah.
Southampton completely outplayed us and somehow didn't win when we went to St Mary's. But yeah, what would be a good return, do you think, from these two games?
Oh, I think I think 4 points would be an incredible return from that. I'd probably take three now, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I think the QPR obviously beatable. They very hot and cold, aren't they? So I think we can go there. Got we got a very up and down record at Loftus Road, so hopefully we can win that one. They're certainly within our capabilities to do that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think like you, I think focus on getting those players getting game time. Maybe a couple of the under 23s even get on the bench and maybe get some game time if they can. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, yeah, 4 points. Hopefully, fingers
I think
crossed. Ever
you're aiming
optimistic.
very high there. It feels like I would definitely take three. I'd potentially take two if I'm honest. But
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
yeah, but we'll see. I mean, it is very tight, isn't it? I think we're 14th, and I think to jump up 5 places, we're only need 1 point at this stage. It's mad. So if we do end the season well, we could easily end up in the top half again, which be, given all the trials and tribulations that we seem to have faced again this season, that would be a good return, I think, wouldn't it? So,
Oh
but
yes.
we'll see. There's 4 games left, 12 points to play for. I don't think we're going to get anywhere near 12 points, but if we could get about half of the ones on offer, then that could be enough for a top half finish. But we will see. But that's enough for this week, I think. Big thanks to Andy for joining me. Yeah, we'll try and come back next week. Obviously, with the fact that we do have the midweek game at QPR, means it will be tricky to potentially squeeze a podcast in, but we'll do our best. If not, we'll be back the week after. But as ever, thank you very much for joining us this week, and bye for now.